New tonight is a bill passing its first House committee vote on Thursday. Opponents call it the Don't Say Gay bill. Here's what this bill says. A school district may not encourage classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in primary grade levels or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. And joining us now to talk about this is Orlando Democratic Representative Carlos Smith, the first openly gay Latino representative in the state of Florida. And Representative, what was your reaction to this bill?
Well, we call this the Don't Say Gay bill because it will effectively erase LGBTQ students, LGBTQ families, and LGBTQ history from classroom discussion. Really anything gay or anything trans would be prohibited from K through 5. And in middle school and in high school, if someone believes that a conversation about LGBTQ people was not so-called age appropriate, the bill encourages them to sue the school. LGBTQ Floridians like myself are a normal and healthy part of our society and of our schools. Conversations about us, about who we are, about what our families look like, they're not dangerous. And this bill suggests that they are dangerous or inappropriate, which sends really a terrible message to our youth. So we're very disturbed by this legislation. Yeah,
I think that the term age appropriate needs to be discussed here, right? It says age appropriate. When is talking about sexual orientation, in your view, appropriate when you're talking about young children? At what age?
Well, just to be clear, when it talks about age-appropriate discussions of sexual orientation or gender identity, we're not talking about sexual education. We already have statutes and laws in the state of Florida that regulate sex education. We are really talking just about the existence of LGBTQ people. That is what that language seeks to censor. These types of bills that want to censor conversations about who LGBTQ people are, or bills that are trying to censor conversations about race and about racism, as we are seeing those move through the legislature this year as well. They are antithetical to the fundamental purpose of our schools, which is to teach our kids.
Yeah, give me an example of a conversation that would take place in a K through 5 classroom that right now could take place, but if this bill were passed, it couldn't take place. Give me one example.
So let's say a fourth grader decides that as part of a assignment, they want to talk about themselves, they want to talk about their family, the types of things that make their family special or different, and they come in and they want to have a conversation about their two moms. And they draw a picture and they write an essay and they say, listen, this is what my family looks like. These are the things that we do during the weekend. These are my two moms. And here we are. We have a discussion about an LGBTQ family. And we also want to mention the possibility of talking about LGBTQ history in K-5. I represent a district in Orlando. 5 years ago, we all know what happened at Pulse nightclub, where 49 mostly LGBTQ people were murdered. This tragedy is very much a part of who we are in Central Florida, and not only the descendants, but the nieces, nephews, relatives, and neighbors of those taken at Pulse nightclub are children in our public schools. These are conversations that we should be encouraging. They're conversations that we are having, and they're important conversations to have with our kids.
Okay, State Representative Carlos Smith from Orlando, you mentioned Pulse, and we saw what hate could lead to in that awful situation. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about this.
Thank you for having me.